Good evening, and thank you for being with us tonight. An unprecedented tragedy. That's how Honolulu's mayor describes the shooting death of 2 Honolulu police officers and massive fire that scorched a dozen homes in Diamond Head this morning. Here's what happened. At 9 this morning, police responded to an assault call at 3105 Hibiscus Drive. That's on the slopes of Diamond Head near Kapiolani Park. The suspect in that assault, identified as Jerry Hanel, then opened fire, killing 2 officers. 2 civilians were also injured before the suspect barricaded himself inside of the home, then set it on fire. The officers who died have been identified as Tiffany Enriquez, a 7-year veteran of police force, and Kaulike Kalama, who had 9 years of service. We've had crews at the scene all day and have team coverage for you tonight. We want to go first to Gina Mangieri at HPD headquarters, where police just gave the latest information. Gina, what can you tell us?
Sam, just moments ago, we had a press conference with Chief Susan Ballard, also the mayor, standing by her, the federal authorities as well, even the fire chief there. And then what the chief shared with us was that after a 911 call this morning from a landlady who had had an altercation and been wounded by the named suspect, Jerry Hanel, she called 911 after having been stabbed with a pitchfork-like garden tool and called for assistance. 3 officers responded. The chief said that Tiffany Enriquez, a 7-year veteran and a mother, had been one of the first out of 3 officers to reach Jerry Hanel's residence. He opened fire, fatally shooting Tiffany. Others took cover, but in the process of taking cover, another 2nd officer, Kaulike Kalama, a father and a 9-year veteran of the force, was fatally killed. The chief said they were wearing their protective vests, but that the injuries and the wounds were above and around the areas that the vests covered. She said these are the 49th and 50th of police officers killed in the line of duty over all of time here in Honolulu, but there has not been a fatal officer shooting in Honolulu since 2003. Almost immediately after, the suspect, authorities say, set fire to the home that he was being evicted from. He had been formally delivered an eviction notice last Thursday and would have been due in court this coming Friday on that case. Authorities say he set fire to the home and it quickly spread. Unaccounted for at this time are Jerry Hanel, the suspect, and 2 adult females last known to be in the home. Again, 2 adult females last known to be in the home, which was split into different rental areas. The police say that these are adult females. Several other children had been brought out of various surrounding areas. Here's what the chief had to tell us, not only about the situation involving the 2 unaccounted for females, but also past interactions with Jerry Hanel. And following her, we'll hear from the fire chief about their response to the scene today. Let's hear what the chief had to say.
At this time, 2 females, unknown ages, and so we don't want to speculate until we do a thorough search and also are able to go into the crime scene to confirm one way or the other. They knew of the suspect and had responded to that residence on several occasions and were, aware of him, and he had never acted out with the officers. And yes, they were wearing bulletproof vests.
We had 7 units, 7 homes totally destroyed, and multiple others with fire or smoke damage. We don't have exact times. We got called later, and the incident actually escalated once we got there, but we take our hats off to HPD to make sure the firefighters were protected at all times. We're very fortunate to have a police and fire department that work so well together. We had firefighters actively engaged in firefight, and they were surrounded and protected by police officers at all times.
Now, what the police, what the fire chief was just referring to there was that even though 14 fire units responded and 50 personnel, they had to stay back from beginning their firefight because there was still sounds of ammunition rounds. Whether or not those were being actively fired by police officers or by the suspect, or whether they were ammunition going up in the flames, is yet to be known. But they were not able to immediately respond. Fortunately, earlier on, at the first signs of smoke, others in the area, including older children and young teenagers were able to help other younger children in that unit to come out of the home. We'll hear from more about that later on in the newscast. However, several people were able to be brought out by Good Samaritans before firefighters were able to respond. We're still asking many questions about exact timing and in under what scenarios both a fire can be fought and people be rescued, and while still protecting the lives of those first responding. Now, this suspect, Jerry Hannell, was not unknown to authorities, as we heard the chief describe. In her quote there that we just heard, she talked about how these officers, including Tiffany Enriquez herself, knew of him, had been there before. Why? In the past 5 years, at least 7 temporary restraining orders had been filed by 4 different people, many of the neighbors, against Jerry Hannell. They suspected everything from harassment. They told me about paranoia. His attorney has even told us there is a history of mental illness there as well. We did ask, what about the firearms? How did he even have a gun? No additional details about what kind of weapon or weapons were used today. However, the chief did say that Jerry Hannell did not have a permit for any kind of weapons. We're still trying to find out whether or not, how he came about his guns. But according to the chief, whether he had 1 or more weapons, he did not have a permit for 1 or any of them. Now, I'd like to also address the issue that the suspects, those who had filed the TROs against him also say they knew of no weapons in the past. Neither did Jerry Hannell's attorney share with us that he knew of any weapons possession. Again, unaccounted for at this time. Jerry Hannell, the suspect, assumed to be in the burned unit, and also 2 unaccounted for adult females in that same unit.